lives in me. For I was dead in sin, but I woke up to see the light.
1, 2, 3.
Hey! Sing it on. All of this for your glory, and all of this for your glory, all of this for your glory, and all of this for your glory. Jesus, be the center, be my source, be my life, Jesus. Jesus, be the center, be my hope, be my song, Jesus. Be the fire in my heart, be the wind in these sails, be the reason that I live, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, be my vision, be my path, be my guide, Jesus. Jesus, be my vision, be my path, be my guide, Jesus. Be the fire in my heart, be the wind in these sails, be the reason that I live, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, be the center, be my source, be my life, Jesus. Be the fire in my heart, be the wind in these sails, be the reason that I live, Jesus, Jesus. Talking about Jesus, talking about Jesus. talking about Jesus, talking about Jesus. I see your face in every sunrise. The colors of the morning are inside your eyes. The world awakens in the light of the day. I look up to the sky and say, you're beautiful and whole. I see your power in a moonlit night, where planets are in motion and galaxies are bright. We are amazed in the light of the stars. It's all proclaiming who you are. You're beautiful and whole. You're beautiful and I see you there hanging on a tree. You bled and then you died and then you rose again for me. Now you are sitting on your heavenly throne. Soon we will be coming home. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. When we arrive at eternity's shore, where death is just a memory and tears are no more, we'll enter in as the wedding bells ring. Your bride will come together and we'll sing. You're beautiful. You're beautiful and I see your face. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I see your face. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
You come at the right time, when I least expect it, never behind. So why I'd be surprised when you deliver every time on mountain tops. You stay the same in valleys low. You'll never change, and I believe that I will see the goodness of the Lord. I'm confident as seasons change, your faithfulness remains.
Go before me to prepare a blessing, made a way. It's more than I could imagine, more than I can fathom, comprehend. On mountain tops, you stay the same. In valleys low, you never change.
And I believe that I will see the goodness of the Lord. I'm confident as seasons change, your faithfulness remains.
God of my present, God of my future, you write my story, you hold it all together. God of my present, God of my future, you write my story, you hold it all together. God of my present, God of my future, you write my story, you hold it all together. God of my present, God of my future, you write my story, you hold it all together.
I believe that I will see the goodness of the Lord. I'm confident as seasons change, your faithfulness remains. Oh God, your faithfulness remains.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us for West Towne and the Ways service this week. We are so happy to be able to worship alongside you wherever you are, and we'd love for you to sing along with us.
I've been held by the Savior. I felt fire from above. I've been down to the river. I ain't the same, a prodigal return. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven, and I've been washed by the blood. I'm no stranger to a prison. I've worn shackles and chains. I've been freed and forgiven. I'm not going back, I'll never be the same. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven, and I've been washed by blood. There's a kind of thing that just breaks a man, breaks him down to his knees. I've been broken more than a time or two. Yes, I have. You picked me up, showed me what it means to be human. All my friends in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven, and I've been washed by blood. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven, and I've been washed by the blood. I've been washed by the blood. I've been washed by the blood. Sweet Jesus Christ, my sanity. Sweet Jesus Christ, my clarity. Bread of heaven broken for me. Cup of salvation held out to drink. Jesus, mystery. Christ has died and Christ is risen. Christ will come again. Christ has died and Christ is risen. Christ will come again. Sweet Jesus Christ, my sanity. Sweet Jesus Christ, my clarity. bread of heaven broken for me, cup of salvation held out to drink. Jesus, mystery, Christ has died and Christ is risen, and Christ will come again. Christ has died and Christ is risen, Christ will come again. Celebrate his death and rising, and lift your eyes, proclaim his coming. Celebrate his death and rising, lift your eyes, lift your eyes. Celebrate his death and rising, lift your eyes, proclaim his coming. Celebrate his death and rising, lift your eyes, lift your eyes. Christ has died and Christ is risen, Christ will come again. Christ has died and Christ is risen, Christ will come again. Jesus Christ, my sanity. Sweet Jesus Christ, my clarity. Isn't it amazing how a man can find himself alone, calling to the darkness for an answer that he's never known? Well, isn't it amazing how God can take a broken man and let him find a fortune, let him ruin it with his own two hands? Climbs on up the hill to the rock on which he stands, looks down at the crowd, looks down at his hands, and he says, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am friendliest of friends of God. won't you let him ruin it with his song to your hands? Climb on up the hill to the rock on which he stands. Looks back at the crowd, looks down at his hands, and he says, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God. I am a difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God. And I am on the fence about nearly everything I've seen, and I have felt the fire be put out by too much gasoline. We're all strangers passing through place and time and afternoon. Life is but a vision in a window that we're peeking through. Helpless conversation with the man who says he cares a lot. Passive confrontation about who might throw a punch or not. We are all transgressors, we're all sinners, we're all astronauts. So if you're beating death, then raise your hand, but shut up if you're not. Oh, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God. Oh, I am a difference maker. Oh, I am the only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We're going to enter into an optional time of communion where you can partake in the body of Christ, which is the bread, and the blood of Christ, which is the juice. We would love if you all would participate in that. We'd also love if you would watch the message coming next. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Falling on my knees in worship, giving all I am to seek your face. Lord, all I am is yours. My whole life I place in your hands. God of mercy, humbled I bow down in your presence at your throne.
I call, you answer, and you came to my rescue, and I wanna be where you are. My whole life I place in your hands, God of mercy, humble I bow down in your presence at your call, you answered, and you came to my rescue, and I wanna be where you are.
Hey, I hope you're doing well. I am so happy you decided to join us. I hope that you're having a great time just hanging out, sharing a meal, and hopefully making some good memories. If you get a chance, we would love to see a group photo. Hey, Caleb, OB, do you mind coming and grabbing a selfie real quick? I don't know if we should we like go Sears family photo?
I think we should go silly faces for sure.
Or like duck face selfie. Okay, I hope you guys are way more photogenic than we are. But once you get the picture, feel free to just throw it up to Facebook or Instagram and use the hashtag #LoveKnox. I'm gonna finish cleaning up, but I'm gonna pass it off to Caleb now. I hope you have a great time. We'll see you later.
Hey, thanks for joining us from wherever you are. I hope you're having a fantastic time at your watch party and that you're enjoying plenty of great food and great company. Our goal today is to talk about the value of rest. Now, you're probably having a long weekend. Maybe you're going out on the lake or hanging by the pool. Maybe you're having your own hot dog eating contest. Whatever your plans are, we know that 4th of July is a great time to rest and enjoy the company of friends and family. It really is the perfect summer holiday. And if you're anything like me, you love summer. Now, it's not my favorite season, that'd be fall, but summer really is awesome. Whatever your favorite season of the year is, we know that we go through seasons in our life as well. Positive, negative, highs, lows, joy, sadness. Maybe you're not sure what season you're in your life right now. Or maybe you could answer the question very quickly. You know, we've been spending the last several weeks talking about these seasons of our lives. We've focused on what it means to be both spiritually mature and emotionally healthy. And in order to weather the seasons of our life, both of these traits must be present within us, emotionally healthy and spiritually mature. As a matter of fact, it's impossible to become spiritually mature while remaining emotionally immature. God designed us as whole beings, made in His image, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and relationally. And our hope is to get beneath the surface, to dig a little deeper, to see what's really motivating our thoughts, words, and actions. We want to be emotionally healthy, spiritually mature, and rooted in the love of God so that we can reflect the goodness of the one who made us into the world. If you'd like to learn more about these ideas, I'd invite you to visit followjesus.org to see more of these teachings. But for today, Ron Bull is going to teach us about the value of rest and how it isn't possible to live our life to the full, how God intended us to, without taking time to rest. So take it away, Ron.
Let's take a few moments to talk about the value of the pause. Musicians know the value of the pause. Musical notes without pauses aren't music. They're just a muddled mess. When we write, we know the value of the comma and the semicolon and the period to create the appropriate pause. Whether we like it or not, COVID-19 taught us the value of the pause. COVID brought our busy world to a screeching stop, but the pause it caused had a positive effect. I'm calling it the pandemic pause or the pandemic positive. Whether we wanted to or not, most of us were forced to take a time out from our work, our school, and our other activities. So now, what happens after the greatest pause in our lifetime? According to Professor Anthony Klotz of Texas A&M University, we are now entering the Great Resignation. 4 million people quit their jobs in April of this year. And Professor Klotz says that it's only just begun. The year 2021 will likely see more people quit their jobs in the U.S. than any year in history, and may set a record that will last for decades to come. We're talking about upwards of 40 million people resigning from their jobs this year. Now, that may not sound like a positive to you, especially if you're an employer and you're trying to keep employees, or you're trying to find employees, or if you're just waiting in line to get a burger. But think about all the employees who weren't happy doing what they were doing, and they've decided to make a change. We're not just talking about fast food workers. We're talking about engineers, salespeople, technicians, and tellers, people from across the board who aren't just leaving their jobs in search of more money, but they're even leaving for more flexibility or more happiness. Many are rethinking what work means to them, how they are valued, how they spend their time. The pandemic pause allowed people to rethink their priorities, and I think that's always a good thing. Imagine that you have a new orchard in the valley and you spend your days planting fruit trees. You work tirelessly knowing that someday your work will pay off. Though it will take years before you reap your first harvest, it will be worth it. But in the midst of your busyness of planting trees, you miss all of the signs about the dam that's being built to flood the valley. Before your first tree blossoms, everything you've planted will be underwater. This is what happens when we don't take time to pause and get a better perspective of everything that is going on. We live in a society that puts a high value on busy schedules. Kids don't just play sports anymore, they live the sport. Employers no longer settle for 40 hours a week, they want it all. Add in our lawns and our clubs and even the church, and we barely have time to eat and sleep. It doesn't take long before the blizzard of busyness blinds us to the things that are most important to us. Farmers in the Midwestern U.S. and Canada know what it is like to be blinded by a blizzard. There are times when the snow comes down so thick they call it a whiteout, and you can't see your hand in front of your face. Farmers have been known to get disoriented between their house and their barn and freeze to death, sometimes just a few feet from safety. Farmers have even learned to tie a rope around something on their porch or in the back door so that they have enough length to get to their barn. At least this will allow them to find their way back to their house if they can't find the barn. If they do find the barn, they tie the other end to the barn so they can continue to travel safely back and forth between the barn and the house as they need to. If the farmer's smart, they go ahead and tie the rope to the house and barn before the blizzard begins. A visitor might think it's strange to see this rope across the yard, but farmers know they are prepared for coming blizzards. How do you prepare for the blizzards of busyness that will blind you? I believe the best preparation is creating a rhythmic pause in your schedule, a time on a daily basis, weekly basis, and annual basis, when you set aside time to pause and check your perspective and check your priorities. Physical health requires rhythmic pauses called sleep. Emotional health requires rhythmic pauses as well. Our need for these rhythmic pauses seems to point to a creator. If we merely morph from amoebas made of molecules in constant motion on planets that never pause, how and why did we evolve to pause? Evolutionists believe humans and animals pause to conserve energy. But how did perpetual motion give way to stillness? And how does stillness help survival of the fittest? Wouldn't prey who didn't sleep be safer from their predators? Maybe the ancient biblical creation story can shed light on this. The first chapter of the Bible tells us about God's 6 days of creation. And then the second chapter begins like this. On the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. The Hebrew word for rested here is the word Shabbat. If you attend a Jewish service, you will hear that word. We are more familiar with the Greek version of that word, Sabbath, which we adopted into English. It means rest. God thought rest was a big enough deal that he blessed the day and declared it holy. Later, when God gave Moses the Ten Commandments, the longest commandment focuses on this rest. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. You have 6 days each week to do your ordinary work. Some might even talk about toil. So it's like that's where we do our hard work, 6 days each week to do our hard work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. Then later, God unpacked it a little more. He says, and I gave them my Sabbath days of rest as a sign between them and me. It was to remind them that I am the Lord who had set them apart to be holy. God even went on to establish a Sabbath year every seventh year. For 6 years you may plant your fields and prune your vineyards and harvest your crops. But during the seventh year, the land must have a Sabbath year of complete rest. It is the Lord's Sabbath. Do not plant your fields or prune your vineyards during that year. How in the world can the entire nation of Israel survive if everyone follows this Sabbath year? God goes on to explain. Be assured that I will send my blessings for you in the 6th year. So the land will produce a crop large enough for 3 years. When you plant your fields in the 8th year, you will still be eating the large crop of the 6th year. In fact, you will still be eating from that large crop when the new crop is harvested in the 9th year. What? Can God actually provide enough to offset the Sabbath? In the mid-1800s, a group of pioneers set out for the Pacific Northwest on the Oregon Trail. They were leaving St. Louis, and they were a religious bunch, and each Saturday, when it was time to stop their traveling for the night, they would unhitch the mules from the covered wagons, set up camp, and stay until Monday. But as summer waned, the days began getting shorter and the weather cooler, and they started worrying about whether they were going to make it to Oregon before the winter snow. Wrestling with what to do, they wondered if they should continue observing the Sabbath or just push ahead in hopes of beating the winter. They couldn't come to a consensus, so they agreed to part ways, half of them continuing as they had been, stopping and resting each Sunday, and the others forging ahead. Guess which group got there first? The Sabbath keepers reached their destination before those who tried to press on. Mules aren't made to go 24/7, and neither are we. God can provide enough to offset the Sabbath. A farmer has to use chemicals to keep planting crops year after year in the same soil without a Sabbath. We call that non-organic. We have to use chemicals to keep ourselves going without pausing for rest. Many of us are living non-organic lives. There's a better way if we trust God's promises. Jesus lived an organic life. He took time to pause and rest. We should do the same. Theologian Robert Barron said it very well. After the full flowering of their achievements and activities, they were invited not to be active, not to accomplish, but to surrender and trust. Action and then passivity. Striving, then letting go. Doing all one can do and then being carried. Only in this rhythm is the Spirit realized. Catholic theologian Leonard Duhan wrote, "To fail to see the value of simply being with God and doing nothing is to miss the heart of Christianity." God wrote through the psalmist, "Be still and know that I am God." Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." Whether you believe in God or not, it is important to pause. Pause throughout your day, pause throughout your week, and pause throughout your year. Discover a rhythm of pausing so you can check your perspective and reevaluate your priorities. Here are 4 steps to include in your pauses. First of all, stop. Now, I know pause means stop, right? But actually stop. Stop what you're doing. And then rest. Sabbath, right? Rest in that moment. Delight. Look at all the positives in your life. Look at what God's doing in your life. And then contemplate. Stop, rest, delight, and contemplate. For Christ followers, these pauses are even more critical. How easy we get blinded by the blizzard of busyness, and how easy we lose sight of what really matters in our lives. See if you can find times every day this week to pause and follow these steps. We've even tried to help you by pulling together some tools that will help you this week. If you follow the link below, you'll be able to sign up for an email that'll go out each day that'll give you some scriptures to ponder on, some questions to think about each day as you get that. And if you don't want to sign up for the email list, you can just go to this page each day and just take a look each time you pause throughout the day. If you're watching with a group or at least one other person, spend some time right now sharing how you intentionally pause in your busyness, how your pauses have helped you, and how you might increase the frequency and effectiveness of your pauses. Thanks so much for joining us.